Guys, the griddle game gets larger and larger every year. I want to say thanks for joining Griddle Nation. We appreciate you being there. There's a lot of questions. I got answers. I have over 10 years experience cooking on a Blackstone griddle. I'm a griddle pro over on the Blackstone channel. I've had a lot of experience and I want to help you. There's about 5, maybe we'll say 5, but there's like subsets of every 5 common questions, concerns that people have, and I want to help you out. Let's get into them. First things first, on the seasoning, you want to make sure you have a nice, clean griddle. You want to wash your griddle top before you even start the seasoning process. Once you do that, you want to attach your propane bottle, get it warmed up, and just get it nice and dry. Get the top nice and dry. I recommend cutting it back off, letting it cool down to where it's not as hot. I like to use the Blackstone Griddle Seasoning Conditioner. It's in a can. You get it at Walmart, get it at Lowe's. I have found this to be very good at seasoning griddles. And I've probably seasoned 20, 25 griddles, maybe even more over my years. The reason I like to just leave the top just barely warm is the conditioner can go onto the griddle top a lot easier, and it don't start polymerizing as soon as you put it on because it's so screeching hot. Once you have a nice thin coat, I want to emphasize thin coats here, y'all. Very, very thin. People say, why is my seasoning flaking? Well, it's flaking because you've had a puddle of oil and it kind of polymerized. It didn't adhere to that cold rolled steel good enough. So when you got a bubble, the bottom, yes, it polymerized. The top, not so much. So whenever you take your scraper, come across, it chips that off. So that's why it's very important to do thin layers. Once you've got a thin layer of oil on all surfaces, the corners, the edges, the sides, everywhere, cut your griddle on. I like to go about a medium heat and let that burn and let that smoke and let that conditioner seasoning smoke. And you want to let that go until you don't see any more. Once you don't see any more, I personally like to cut it off. What you can do, it's all up to you. This is my preference. I like to cut it off, but some people will just keep on seasoning. They'll take a pair of tongs and they'll just keep on rubbing it side to side. The reason why I don't is because, again, you can get pooling and you can get some uneven seasoning going on there. So you want to do this for 3, 4, I mean, however much time you have. Whenever I go to a cook, say at Lowe's, where I do commonly, I will have to season griddles before I cook on it. So I might do this 2 to 3 times and that's about it. And I start cooking. Wait, I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. Hussey, what about the edges of my Blackstone? Have no fear, friends. Just after every use, clean it really good and it'll start filling in. You might have to do just a little bit of coat here and there, and eventually your sides will fill in. Now, what some people will do, they'll take a torch or blowtorch and they'll touch up the sides, get it hot. That's optional. You can do that, whatever you. Over time, those edges, those corners, it will fill in. One might note, some people will take onions. They say, and this comes from wok seasoning or wok cooking, they would season with green onions, and it is said to take some of the metallic taste out of it. And I think that's because of the carbon steel. This is more of a cold roll steel. Some people, I know Blackstone Betty, she will take onions and with her oil and just let those just cook and cook. She just moves it around. That too will help fill in some of your edges, some of the corners, that kind of thing. It'll just fill in. So you got it nice and seasoned, okay? You got 3 or 4 coats on it. The middle looking good, the edges, they'll get there, okay? This is how I like to clean. I like to have a warm griddle. You don't want it really hot, but like on a low temperature, a little bit of water, steam it, okay? It steams off. I scrape it. I use my scraper, all right? Push it to the back, take some paper towels, then I wipe it off really good, and I let that dry, okay? Making sure that thing is dry. You always want it to be dry. After it's dried, I'll come back, I've really been using this, it's an avocado spray, some of it's avocado olive oil spray, and I'll just do a light coat over that griddle top, make sure to get all the sides, everything, and then I'll put the cover on it, and it's ready for the next time. It's really just as easy as that. But hey, the next time you use it, a lot of people don't go over this. What do I do? Whenever you fire it up, do you start cooking? No sir, no ma'am. I'll fire it up, get it warm, I'll put a little bit of water on it, let that steam, and it cleans. Take my rag, go around, and this right here, you never know what's going on. You got dust out here, you got landscapers, just regular dust, you got animals, who knows what's got in there, bugs. So you just wanna make sure that's nice and clean before you start cooking. It only takes about a minute or so. So that pretty much sums up seasoning and maintenance. Again, you wanna make sure it's dry. That is a raw piece of metal. Keep it oiled, keep it clean, keep it dry, keep it oiled, keep it covered. And that's it. It will treat you well for a long, long time. My original Blackstone from 10 years ago is still in operation, and I'm not so sure I was the best upkeeper in the world. So that just goes to show you, they'll take a little bit of a beating, but it's all good. Going to number 2, temperature control. This is a big one. The common griddle, it's a 36-inch griddle, okay? And use your zones. You got 4 zones, 1, 2, 3, 4. Plus, you got the edges right here, okay? This is where I like to put stuff just to wait for other things that's going on. You can push it up there and it'll stay nice and warm. You're doing the other main course here. But I would say this right here, this little item right here, it's a magnet, okay? I sell this magnet, I made this magnet, I designed this magnet. You can put it right here. It's a magnet, it's great. It cleans off well. Now, some people might say it might be a little small, but I had to make it kind of small because there's not a lot of space. But it tells you the griddle temperatures and the knob position, okay, of about all your foods that you need. And that's a great general guideline. Now, it depends on, I'm in North Carolina. If you're in California, if you're in Colorado, a little elevation difference, the cold, the heat, humidity does play a factor. But this right here will get you in the ball game of where you need to go. One thing I also recommend is this is an instant read thermometer plus an infrared thermometer all in one. So it's a little expensive, it only hurts once, but it's one thing you gotta have if you're just now kind of starting out, you're kind of a beginner on a Blackstone. How can I tell if my griddle is too hot or is too cold? Good question. Too hot. The thing is just like smoking hot. I mean, just screeching hot. And you can see the smoke coming off of this thing. That's a good indication. If you're putting scrambled eggs on that, do not put scrambled eggs on that. It will smoke them bad boys. Don't want that. You wanna bring it down and then, right here, eggs, it'll show you what it needs to be, about 300, 325 degrees maximum. Instant read thermometer, it'll tell you where to go. How can you tell if your griddle is too cold? Well, that's a good indication. Say you're doing chicken. You lay your chicken on there. You don't hear anything. You don't hear no sizzle. You don't hear nothing, no sound magic of anything. That's an indication, don't leave it on there. Take it off, let it come up to temperature. Reference your griddle temperature magnet for like a chicken, steak, that kind of thing. 425 degrees, take your infrared, shoot it. Yep, I'm good to go. Now let's cook our chicken. So the question is, why does my food sometimes burn and why does it sometimes stick? Well, that's a kind of a weighted question. Why does it burn? Well, the griddle is just too hot, okay? Some people will say, my griddle's on low, Hussey, but it's still screeching hot. And that's not so much of the griddle's fault, it's difficult. You have to have airways coming in here, you gotta have air circulating. This griddle, it has to pass test X amount of mile per hour wind gusts can't come through here and blow this flame out. So you have to have a certain height of flame, certain volume of flame, so that the flame doesn't blow out, okay, and once you hit the ignite, it fills up with gas. You just don't want that. What I recommend is cycling burners. I always recommend cycling your burners. Use a little bit of water to bring the temperature down. If it's so hot, again, your thermometer, your eye, smoking hot, you can feel it. It's a little bit of it's a learning process, but with a little bit of just experience, you will figure it out. Do you need a specific cover or hood? No, you don't. You don't have to have a branded one. You can make one from just a aluminum pan. You could put you could use just aluminum pan, but some people popped a hole in it, put a knob on it so you can bring it off. I like this one, is really good. This one's from Walmart, and what I like is you can pretty much cover almost a quarter of your Blackstone, maybe about a third actually. And especially if you're doing a lot of taters or something like that, it just creates a lot. There's smaller ones that you can get as well. I just like the big one because, you know, I can just rotate it and I can put it over a bunch of things here in the middle. I can put it over here if I want it on this zone. I just like that big dome, and that's the one I pretty much use commonly, and you'll see it. And then, you know, the other things are just kind of just, you know, here and there. I like, you know, this is like a little gatekeeper here. You put it over so that nothing gets past the rear grease management. That's pretty cool. I like the Blackstone one. You know, you can slide it out of the way. It's got this nice little tab here. You just kind of flick it out of the way. Makes it really nice. These little catch cans here, you put them inside of your little drain thing back there, catch can, whatever you call it, and then you throw it out, and it keeps everything just nice and clean. Love these little silicone mats here. These are great. Makes it really nice. You put your dirty spatula on that and you're not messing up the side of your Blackstone. Other accessories, hey, these right here. This is a meat temperature magnet and the griddle temperature magnet. I prefer them both. They're both in my YouTube shop and on my website. Other than that, you know, there's all kinds of little gimmicky things, egg rings, that kind of thing. I don't use a whole lot of that, so you might want to experiment with it. So what's the best oil to use? Well, I'm glad you asked. I personally like to go with avocado oil. It's very light, it's not heavy, and it also has a very nice smoke point. Another option, clarified butter. This is basically, you take butter, you take the milk solids out and the whey, and you're left with clarified butter. Nice high smoke point. When I'm doing eggs and such, I do butter. Love butter with my eggs, but butter has a smoke point of about 300, almost 350 degrees, so you gotta be really careful. It'll turn brown, then black, and then that's no bueno. Let's talk about cooking techniques and recipes. Smash burgers. Everybody loves smash burgers. I've made a few videos on them. I'll have some links below for you to check those out, but I'm going to give you the cliff notes right now. First things first, nice 80-20 ground chuck, okay? I cannot express how much that means. You really need a nice fat to beef ratio, fat to meat ratio. About 2 to 3 ounce ball of meat only. One technique that I like to use is a 1/4 cup measuring device, and you can just pack that in and make that into a ball, and that's going to be about a 3 ounce ball. Next, got to get your griddle, got to get it nice ripping hot. What does our magnet say for hamburgers? Oh my goodness, about 450 degrees. So, you know, ripping hot. You want that thing, you want it really, you want the oil to be screeching, you want it smoking, okay? Take your ball, nice ball, put it down. I like to use this. This is the Blackstone press here. It's really good. It don't have a flange on it. It's nice and flat. I like to take parchment paper. Most of the time you can put the ball down, let it get a patch, flip it over and do it that way. Some people say you can, you know, massage it that way. And a little bit of parchment paper, non-waxed, just regular old parchment paper, and just smash it down, hold it for just a little bit. That's gonna give you a nice contact patch on that burger, gonna give you that nice caramelization, nice Maillard reaction, a little bit of salt, little pepper, or old Hussey's heifer dust. It's pretty good on some burgers, I must say. It was formulated for burgers. Next, you wanna take your spatula, and this thing's gonna be welded to the Blackstone. I like to turn it over like this, and I kind of go up under it. You just want to kind of feather it, and then you can turn it around, come over it, and then flat. Then, as soon as you do that, you want to put your cheese on it. That burger's pretty much done. I mean, it's literally a 1/16 inch thick, okay? This top, 450 degrees, 165 degrees kills E. coli. You're perfect, you're good to go. Put your cheese on it, let that thing melt, and put it on a bun and enjoy it. Double it up for even more fun. Double your fun, double your pleasure. Be good. So let's talk about just a few mistakes, okay? A lot of people have them. Why does my food burn? Well, you're letting it pre-warm a lot, really too much. Not really knowing your temperatures, where you need to be at. Like I said, get you that infrared. When you're first starting out, eventually you won't even need this, okay? You'll know it by look and by feel, by touch, that kind of thing. Why does the griddle have uneven zones? Well, thermodynamics. That's just what it is. This right here, these edges right here, you know, it's right here. It's right where the heat just kind of comes out, right? And so it's not going to be as hot. And I like it like that. It's not a bad thing. I like to put foods over here that I just want to be idle, to be ready. And that's it. The middle is going to be your hottest because there's no way really it goes out the back and the front, but not side, okay? Don't have 3 sides, it only has 2. So your middle is going to be hotter. And use that to your advantage. Whenever you want your stir fries, your screeching, you know, you really want to sear a steak, that kind of stuff, really high heat applications. That's where your middle comes into play. Okay, got your vegetables, put it over here in the corner, up here in these edges, right here. Perfect place for everything just to hang out. They're just like, hey man, let me know when the party's ready, okay? So they're just up there hanging out. That's why you have uneven zones. It's even your stoves, ovens, they're uneven as well. It can't be exact, but just use it to your advantage. So you got a little bit of a rust spot, no big deal. It's like a haircut. A bad haircut only takes about 2 weeks to fix, okay? Let's just face it. Got a little rust spot right there? It's no big deal. You could take a little bit of salt and you could kind of rub at it. You could take like a chain mail, kind of rub it, just to make sure you get it nice and scratch it up really good, okay? After that, add you a little bit more of that season, you know, clean it really good. You want to clean it really good. Take your oil rag and then, you know, get it hot, kind of re-season that spot just a little bit. And then whenever you're done, you know, spray it again and cover it. And just keep on maintaining that, all right? So the rust spots, it's no big deal. You can get you a grill brick as well. You can get those on Amazon. Blackstone sells one. I know at Lowe's. You just take that grill brick and just kind of scratch it. And you take it down. You want to get that rust out of there or it'll just continue, okay? But it's not a big deal. Don't fret about it. It happens. This thing's outside. It sees weather. It's really no big deal, okay? Guys, that's it for now. I appreciate you watching. If you got a tip or trick on how you maintain your griddle, your favorites, that kind of thing, would love to see what you got down in the comment section. I'd love to interact with you. Hey, like I said, I'm Matthew Hussey, The Hungry Hussey. I appreciate you, and we'll see you next time.